I talk about emotional immaturity a lot, and people misunderstand it. Pointing out patterns isn't an insult, it's noticing human behavior. Emotional immaturity is not a character flaw or a moral failure, it's a developmental gap. It's a lack of emotional skills that were never fully learned or practiced. Just like someone can reach adulthood without strong reading or math skills, you can also reach adulthood without the ability to regulate emotions, tolerate discomfort, or maintain healthy relationships. Emotional immaturity shows up as being reactive rather than reflective. When somebody doesn't have the ability to regulate emotions, the emotions control their thought processes instead of logic and reason. So people see a situation or hear words, how they make them feel instead of what's actually there. Feelings take over in the moment without pausing to think about consequences or another person's perspective. Emotional immaturity often includes defensiveness, impulsive anger, withdrawal, and or the inability to sit with uncomfortable feelings such as shame, disappointment, or vulnerability. There is low emotional tolerance. Stress, conflict, and criticism feel overwhelming. Instead of processing what's happening, underdeveloped individuals deflect, deny, blame, and rewrite events to protect their self image. This is often an automatic response and not intentional. These are behaviors that they've done their entire lives. Empathy is also lacking. Emotionally immature individuals might be able to care, yet they do struggle to find empathy for others, especially when their emotions are triggered. Their chaotic internal state makes it difficult for them to separate their feelings from everyone else, which makes relationships feel one sided and unpredictable. You might see moments of compassion when things are calm, but as soon as stress or conflict hits, it collapses. They minimize others' feelings, they redirect the focus on themselves, or they shut down because they cannot tolerate their emotions and someone else's at the same time. Another extremely common trait is reliance on external validation. Without a stable sense of self, feedback can feel threatening, especially criticism or negative feedback. The need to be perceived a certain way and accepted externally leads to defensiveness, image management, and constantly seeking approval. None of these behaviors develop in a vacuum. Emotional skills are learned, not automatic. Children pick up emotional regulation, communication, and relationship skills through consistent responsive interactions with caregivers. When emotions are dismissed, punished, or ignored, emotional development can be disrupted. Trauma and stress makes it harder. When the nervous system is focused on skills like survival, things like empathy, reflection, and tolerance for discomfort don't have as much of a chance to grow. Sometimes, though, people who grow up with emotionally immature parents end up extremely mature in many ways, but there's still usually some regulation skills that need to be learned as an adult. It's important to recognize that emotional development is uneven. Someone can be very capable in intellect or daily life, but be very lacking in emotional skills. Emotional immaturity tends to show up most in close relationships, where emotional demands are higher and patterns are harder to hide. Seeing emotional immaturity as a skill gap rather than a moral failure can decrease blame and promote growth. Emotional skills can be learned. People can develop tolerance for discomfort and healthier ways to engage with others. That being said, understanding this doesn't excuse harmful behavior. Actions still have consequences, and accountability matters. It is up to the person lacking the emotional skills to want to develop new skills and do the work. We must accept that we cannot change anyone else's internal state for them. We can only place boundaries surrounding how we interact with someone. But approaching emotional immaturity as a set of skills to build versus a character flaw makes it easier to address, both for the person struggling and the people around them. Have a good day.